And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grand Arena Coliseum, where if you're looking for the hottest plays and the craziest action, you've come to the right place. You got a 2-4-1 special Grand Arena today. It's been a hot week wrapping up the 3v3 Grand Arena, and let's just say we got some insane plays for your membrane. I want to thank you guys last time. You guys gave a lot of support to these Grand Arena highlights. If you want to keep seeing them, baby, you know what to do. Show some love down below like you did before. And let me show you what's behind the door. Starting ourselves with the first Grand Arena of this trio. Going up against OXO, or is it OXO? I don't know. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Gary's Mom's Basement Dungeon, where we're going to be talking about our sponsor today, which is Raid Shadow Legends. But it's also kind of a self-sponsor, too, in case you guys did not know. I have a second channel where I've been playing a lot of Raid Shadow Legends. There'll be a link down below if you want to come hang out with me playing Raid Shadow Legends. I've been having a ton of fun. I started a new account a couple months ago, and man, the theory crafting you can do in this game is absolutely insane. Simply between the masteries that you got going on, obviously the skills and upgrades, and then when you ascend your champions, you get these awesome blessings that you can throw for another level of theory crafting. And you're probably gonna think I'm crazy. Different mod sets that really take your characters to the next levels. Right now in Raid Shadow Legends, you can get the brand new Loki the Deceiver for free. If you go log into Raid starting from now until November 22nd, the last time you can get a hold of this. As long as you log in for 7 days, you will get Loki for free, and then you'll get some other amazing rewards to make him even better. You can find my account, Targaryen, as well as my clan that I started up, the Real Gary Legion, inside the clan. So feel free to come and join us. And make sure you scan that QR code or use my link down below. You will get amazing new player rewards to get you going. And be sure to click on that chest right up there to get all of your amazing free rewards. I hope to see you in Raid Shadow Legends. But what I do know is that this was the definition of failure. Reminds me, when I brought home my first C+ from school, my father said, "You're a failure!" And my GameCube was taken away for, I don't know how long, it was like 6 months. But you know what? In the wise words of Grand Admiral Thrawn, what did he say? Something about, you know, if you let an error keep on going, it's a mistake, or everyone makes mistakes, but if you keep on going, it's an error. I don't know, post the quote here. That's the moral of today's story. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show you the cool stuff here and then show you the failure. I wanna show you a few cool plays here. Number one, Moff Gideon. Again, if you're sleeping at the wheel, what am I supposed to do for you? Moff Gideon and his Datacron are doing absurd things this Grand Arena, and I showed this a few times this season. Let's just say you guys have been liking it and using it to your advantage. Thrawn Lead versus Queen Amidala. Now, talk about budgetary teams right here. If you want to save your Dark Tier Moff Gideon for something else, well, guess what? You can use Thrawn Lead right here. Have a short trip to pre-taunt to take out that opening blow from the Queen Amidala lineup, and then it's all a matter of time. Once Gideon gets going, you start rolling. And as you can see, after we rolling, we're gonna smash this team. It is easy as apple pie, my friends, but it came at a cost. The cockiness of this play meant that we were going to run into a big issue with Jabba the Hutt. Now, here's where we're going to run into problems. Generally, lately, I've been using Moff Gideon versus Jabba the Hutt. It does wonders, as you're going to see later on in this video here. However, not having Gideon for this meant that my Night Sisters failed. Meant that my zombie boys, Enoch and the gang, couldn't get the job done. And, well, things got incredibly expensive with Jabba mirror matches. Lord Failure failed me as well. Let's just say this was incredibly expensive, ending up using freaking Bane to two-shot and then having to clean up with Mon Mothma and the POW. Yikes, a lot of drop banners. Luckily, our opponent, OXO, had a 1974, which means we could drop. But man, talk about the biggest failure I've had against Jabba in a hot minute. Yuck! Luckily, the rest of this went pretty well when we ended up using Bossk versus Kelleran Beck. I like this quite a lot. Luckily, this didn't have the Caw or ETH Koth Datacron, whatever it is. Nice and simple. Getting your Bossk with his Datacron, not super important, but it's nice. He's got fear on that level 9 currently. Able to work our way towards Mando's insta-kill, and boom, deleting one, boom, deleting another. Easy, nice wins. This is what we like to see, my friends. And this was probably the second highlight battle of this Grand Arena versus Oxo, where we had Jedi Knight Revan versus Enoch. Oh, man! You know, these Enoch zombies, they could be scary, especially with their Datacron that they got going on. You gotta be careful. If you get too much blight, the troopers are gonna do some nasty damage. But luckily, with the fine tuning that Jedi Knight Revan's bringing to the battle, we also had the stun Datacron for the Jedi. We were able to control the Enoch and the zombies. Take down Enoch first, and then we started working through the others. Luckily, with Mace Windu's Shatterpoint, reducing the max health, making our way through these zombies. As you can see, it takes a minute to work through them, especially if you're having a hard time landing critical hits, but ended up getting the win. Max Banners, this is a very cheap counter versus Enoch. I mean, I guess it technically is a journey and a legendary, but nonetheless, this is such a basic Jedi Knight Revan team. I'll take that as a massive success. And then unfortunately, the upset battle happened where Jedi Knight Revan succeeded. Well, let's just say Darth Revan versus the Night Sister was quite a different story. Here we go, doing a Darth Revan split. Wanted to use Malgus somewhere else, which I did, but I was really hoping Darth Revan could get the job done here. But with the Night Sister Datacron, the Night Sister Zombie Datacron, to be more specific, we just got absolutely wrecked. I haven't seen Revan take an L this big in a long, long time, but it goes to show, you know, don't sleep with those Night Sisters. Okay, I mean, you know what I mean? Not that way, you dirty people out there. Gosh dang, Gary, seriously. Anyways, dropping the battle, and all of a sudden, the window for victory shrunk after that massive upset. Ended up using Sith Eternal versus the Night Sisters to get through it. Didn't feel good. And then everything was solidified with that loss in the back wall, where we had Admiral Trench. Tried throwing some Han Chewies, tried throwing some Hondos, tried throwing some Dark Trooper Gideon, didn't work. And that was it, my friends. So Oxo took the win. The biggest thing I'm learning from this, yes, it's cool that Gideon can take down Queen Amidala, but if I simply would have saved Gideon or the Jabba, this would have been an absolute blowout for our Kyber Club. But don't worry. As I said, if that wise word from Thrawn, you know, a mistake isn't an error until you correct it, or unless you correct it. We corrected. And get a look of this. Our round 2 that we have for 3v3 Grand Arena was up against double negative. They put up a score of 20-48, a near perfect score, no drop battles. And let me tell you, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. I am a massive jackhammer. For jobs that need fine-tuned precision, boom, we're knocking down walls to get the job done. So we need to be delicate with the massive power, the massive intellect, the massive plays that we have. So people, sit back, relax, and let me show you how this party started. To start off, to build on top of the weakness that we saw in the last Grand Arena, Lord Vader couldn't take down Jabba. I decided to put in the fate of the gods of Ara and Jesus, where we started this off with Lord Vader versus Rey. Skywalker versus Skywalker. Don't get mad at me if you don't like that. That's just how they wrote it, okay? The Kyber Club doubted me. They couldn't believe that I went with such a bold play, but you know, desperate times call for bold plays. Lord Vader getting in there. Rey knocking down our Royal Guard, our Ninth Sister. No Maul needed, because why? He's just gonna get wrecked by all the Rey massacre. Lord Vader's all about stall, stall, stall. He needs 10 hours to ramp up. Eventually, we take down the Sabine Datacron, which was the biggest hurdle for this team. And then once Sabine was down, Lord Vader delivered. Full autoing array, not the prettiest banners, but by far the best thing that I've gotten out of Lord Vader this season. A massive win for Lord. Today, he's Lord Successor. Doesn't have the same ring as Lord Failure, does it? So, we corrected the error, the mistake, whatever the difference is from the last Grand Arena. And this time, we brought back Gideon versus Jabba the Hutt. Whew. And yeah, you could see why a simple change of where to use a counterwear makes a huge difference. Instead of dropping 6 battles like I did versus Oxo here, well, look at this. Gideon gets rolling. We lost our scout trooper, but don't worry. I'll get him back. That's a promise. Gideon, once we get those 4 stacks of insights, the Datacron letting us take bonus turn after bonus turn after bonus turn, eventually taking a break from the massacre of OG Gideon, letting Dark Moth Gideon get out there, bust the revive for the scout trooper, and guess what? We ended up leaving this battle with maximum bandwidth. Sometimes, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Use your Gideon at the best place possible. Such a powerful tool, don't screw it up. Next up, we have Bane versus Queen Amidala. Again, this is basically what I should have done in that first Grand Arena. Well, I did it here. Bane getting out there, we had the attacker Datacron being able to use multiple attacks in a turn, controlling Padawan Obi-Wan's damage with the basic coming from Bane. And yeah, nice, straightforward. Let me tell you, it's satisfying when the Queen Amidala team, they have all these buffs, and Bane's like, thank you. And he goes, Chisui-sa! Takes all the buffs, Big Daddy damage, taking the win. And again, moving on, we have Queen Amidala versus Leia. Another common thing that I've been using this season, the tank Datacron again on Queen Amidala, on Leia Organa, is a little bit nutty right now. And, well, Queen Amidala just gets the job done. If it's not broken, don't fix it sometimes, my friends. This was a pivotal battle because I'm sure my opponent was really hoping I had to use something a little bit more expensive on the Rey, which I could have used Queen Amidala on the Rey, but with Lord Vader stepping up to the plate, allowed us to stick to our usual plan, taking out the Leia for, again, amazing banner opportunity. But we're not done yet. We got one more battle on this front wall, and that is going to be Maul versus Kelleran. We're seeing a lot of Kelleran this particular season with the Barris Kron from the previous set, the Koth Datacron. With this set, we have Eth Koth here, and this time we went for Maul. Maul DeLorean. Getting the job done. So much opportunity to keep your team alive. Gar Saxon staying alive, eating all the stuns, coming from the Eth Koth lineup, and eventually, it's just a matter of time till Maul can go pa, 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 jazz hands, deleting Eth Koth. Then you gotta build up your stacks again. I got a little greedy, went for Barris a little too early before we got 5 stacks of Anguish, but don't worry, I waited. Patience was bought in my favor, taking out the Barris, taking out the Kelleran back. Nice win. I love when I could spread out my Lord Vader and Maul. It doesn't make sense to put them together if Maul's just gonna die because Lord Vader takes forever to get a play going. This is how you gotta do it. Another amazing win. The back walls open up, where here we see ourselves a General Anakin Skywalker, General Grievous, some Tuskens, Shaak Ti, and Finn. And this is where we're gonna start doing a little bit of tango, working on the top, working on the south. And here we work our way to the top wall, where we got Savage versus the Gungans. Again, I love this counter. This was working in the peak of the Gungan power. Savage still getting the job done. Even with all the buff immunity and all the other garbage that the Gungans are bringing, no problem. This might be a different battle if Jar Jar was an attacker, which wouldn't make a ton of sense. But if Jar Jar was an attacker with the support Datacron, this could be a lot scary. But nonetheless, Savage getting the job done in the lead. So he's getting turn meter from his Omicron turn meter from Talon's unique ability, feeding loads of turn meter, knocking out the generators. Easy money. And then again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. People, this is where things got incredibly scary. We were on a hot roll. The plays simply descending from the gods above. And all of a sudden, the official PC client crashes on us the second I was about to start a Bo-Katan versus Luthen. With all hope lost, thinking that the game took the loss. No, no, no. The game let us have our Bo-Katan, so we were able to shove her in the battle, get a nice win up against this Saw and Luthen. No Omicrons on any of them, funny enough, but nonetheless, this amazing run could have been ended simply by the game not working. But you know what? It broke, but it didn't break entirely. You know what? That's a good motto to run with. Bo-Katan getting a nice simple win on the Saw Gerrera lineup. Next up, we have Enoch versus General Skywalker. Let's just say some Kyber Club members, you know, they have this General Anakin Skywalker superiority. Oh, he's the best. He could do whatever. Don't get me wrong, I like the guy. But I had to knock him down a few pegs. Some people said, there's no way Enoch can beat Gas. I'm like, do you know who I am? Enoch getting in there, having a ton of resistance against critical hits. Gas can't do his thing if he's not increasing our cooldown. Quickly getting Gas down with all that blight. Knocking him down. Going for the 5 sacrifice because who the heck cares? Going for Captain Rex a second time. And you know what? It was only a matter of time till Gas finally was buried 6 feet under by these zombies. I love Enoch. Here's the memo in case you've missed it. Enoch, before Datacron, is a pretty hard counter to General Anakin Skywalker. A nice win, and let's just say it felt good. And to celebrate this win, I posted the Thriller Thrawn remix on my new music channel. There'll be a link down below if you want to go ahead subscribe to it. We got a lot of new stuff coming your way just to celebrate the massive occasion of this right here. Now we're on easy mode. As we can see, there are no more GLs. Our opponent went pretty heavy on the offensive, but we had to kind of match that tempo. Sith Eternal versus Enfys Nest. Linking up the nest, linking up the droid. You wait till ultimate, and goodbye. We weren't gonna deal with that Nest Datacron. I wanted to just get through it, call it a day. Great solo. We need some banners, baby. So yeah, Sith Eternal taking the win on this. The Kyber Club demanded more high-octane action, so we provided Wampa versus Iden Versio. Oh, yeah. Generally, I've been staying away from Wampa this season because, you know, there's not a lot of windows of opportunity, but here, the Kyber Club demanded it. 70% of the Kyber Club voted on it. I had to deliver. Luckily, this was not a super attacker-heavy team. We didn't have Scout Troopers, we didn't have Death Trooper, Range Trooper, but they did have the Grit Datacron, which stalled things out. But at the end of the day, when Wampa wants, Wampa delivers, and boy, oh boy, did she deliver. Getting a nice, lovely win on Iden Versio. We don't get many Wampa opportunities, so I'm glad we capitalized on this one, and great banners along the way. Malgus versus Admiral Trench. Again, keep it to the theme. Let's try to maintain our banners. Let's try to just get easy dunks with what we have left over. Malgus getting the job done. No Wat Tambor on this lineup, oddly enough, which is fine. We were able to nosedive straight for that Admiral Trench. And of course, Newt Gunray had to be a jerk, snapping my banners. Lost the one banner on this, but nonetheless, fairly clean overall. We'll take it. Next up, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren versus the Tusken. I was more like Tarzan, but anyways, this is probably the most disappointing battle, oddly enough. Generally, that's for Lord Vader, but Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, he delivers. But today, there was no Great Mothers on defense. Pretty much the first time, more or less, that I've had no Great Mothers on defense. So using him here, I feel like I got less banners versus Tuskens than the Great Mothers. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, Colorado Mask got nuked out, but luckily, still pushing through. We made the plays happen, but man, losing a couple banners on Tuskens, the Galactic Legend, doesn't feel all that well, but unfortunately that attacker Datacron on the Tuskens can hurt, and I didn't have any more attacker Datacrons to make Kylo Ren get to that next level I'd like him to be at. But nonetheless, win's a win. Let's keep moving, where we got Starkiller versus Shaak Ti. First I've seen Shaak Ti on defense in a freaking long time. As the lead with clones, there was a Shaak Ti Datacron, but Starkiller, once you get that shock at the very beginning of Mara Jade, they can't get the retribution from that Datacron and just the unique abilities in general, the leader abilities, whatever the hell's going on with Shaak Ti. Easy money, too easy, where I didn't even get to pull it out of the sky. I guess you could say the pullout game was weak. Taking a win. Let's keep moving along. We're almost done with the South Wall, people, where we have Night Sisters versus Finn and the Resistance. I don't know, man. This always feels like super sketchy and risky. Again, they didn't have Rose Tico, which generally means you're in the clear to pull the win here. But man, it just feels like this team is like, it's like teeter-tottering on the edge of destruction. But you know what? Once the Night Sisters get rolling, as long as Marin's not being killed off, you're fine. Getting to play, they start dropping like flies. Easy win. And speaking of easy win, we got one more character battle. And that's Jabba the Hutt versus General Grievous. Going for a little bit of an underdog here. Jabba the Hutt, just working towards our ultimate, working towards the ultimate. Insta-kill, working towards the ultimate, working towards the ultimate. You guys know the drill here. We're looking for banners. I didn't need Bauschlia for this. So nonetheless, had Jabba, might as well use him. There you go. So I guess that we could say this very safely. We executed to the highest degree of domination on the character battles. We were going to ship with a nice little lead, but just a little bit, where I needed to score 67 banners on average. And we had ourselves Leviathan, we had ourselves Executors and Malevolence, the pretty typical lineup I'm seeing people throw in Kyber 1. So let's see. Let's take out the most RNG dependent battle first. Thrawn's Chimera versus Leviathan. No funky little Leviathan lineup today. Your pretty standard lineup here. And as you go through the battle, you can see 1 second it's tilting towards my favor. Next second it's tilting towards Leviathan's favor. You're looking at these key things. How fast is Sith Assassin pushing Terminator? Who's getting stunned? Your TIE Defender or your TIE Fighter? Are they going for a TIE Defender enough to get the dodges, or are they not? Here we saw they weren't really targeting my TIE Defender. They were going more for the TIE Fighter, which means I'm not getting enough Terminator, where things got a little hairy, a little close. But at the end of the day, we pulled the win off, but man, we fell below that 67 banner average that we need, which means we need to dig ourselves out of the hole and get some nice wins with the next one, where we had Negotiator versus Executor. Every time I say Executor, I feel like it's Executor from Pokemon, you know? Anyways, we're gonna execute this team profoundly. Let me tell you, my friends, Kenobi. Whew, what a beautiful battle. I love when people put the triple attacker lineup because, man, it's an easy dunk. I don't need to commentate on this. Just look at that right there. 75 banners. But as I said not too long ago, don't get too cocky with this. We may see the punishing one punish the Kenobi lineup greatly, but time will tell. And then lastly, all we had to do was get across that line, my friends, where we had Holdo the Forbidden One versus Malevolence. My favorite matchup for Fleets. All she has to do is not suck. You need to set up the field where the second you get that comeuppance out, she needs to nuke the entire field out by setting up Rey, Shadow, Legends, big AoE, and well, would you look at that? Getting a 70 banner win, and that, my friends, means we got a 2055 score versus their 2048, the highest score we've gotten this season in Grand Arena. Let me tell you, when I put my mind to it, we're literally unstoppable. Shout out to Double Negative for putting such a fantastic score up and pushing us to our limits. The plays were crazy. The insanity of the wildness that we had in those plays. And more importantly, the amazing Kyber Club with our party here in the Kyber Empire, making it where, man, it really makes me want to say how it's great to be in the Empire today. Thank you folks so much for coming out here. It really means a lot that you're spending your time with me on this hollow table. This is yours truly, the King of Triple B, Gods Get the Mobile Gaming, the 8th Day Creation, and all those other fancy titles, Direct to Video Game Division, Thickest and Deadliest Star Destroyer, AK the Crack. You know the drill. But all you need to know is on the way out. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to catch you in the next video.